Hello friends, myself Viraj, welcome to GS Core, and this is our approach to mains program in which we will be taking into consideration questions to concept. Now what is questions to concept? We will take into consideration a PYQ. We will basically take into consideration a PYQ, look upon the focal concept in that PYQ, alright, and understand how that particular concept has to be studied for the purpose of UPSC mains examination. This is the modus operandi of the program. Alright, so today the subject that we will be looking into is Indian polity, which is obviously present in general studies paper 2, and the theme in Indian polity that we will be concentrating upon is judiciary. So judiciary basically is the, I will say it is judiciary I will say is the most important theme in Indian polity. Why? Every year questions in mains are asked on judiciary. Alright, every year questions are asked. So let us look into the PYQ first and try to also understand what all, okay, overall on the concept of judiciary, on the theme of judiciary, okay, basically on the theme of judiciary, what all UPSC expects you to know. The question is constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence is a prerequisite of democracy. Alright, so what is the main focal point? What is basically the main focal point of the question? The main focal point is judicial independence, no doubt about that. Okay? And if you see now, most of the times UPSC, when it is concerned with judiciary and when it wants to ask you question on judiciary, now it will ask you question on judicial independence and judicial accountability. Judicial independence and accountability. देखो second, if you also take into consideration other PYQs related to judiciary, I'll just let you know, okay, how to approach judiciary. ना for that ना I'll just let you know कि किस तरह से judiciary देखना है, how to look at the theme of judiciary, how to look at basically the theme of judiciary, and when reading the material on judiciary ना what has to be your observation. So first is judicial independence, that has to be your observation, how judicial independence is assured and how judicial independence may be in the times to come, how it might be expanded. So what are the constitutional provisions related to judicial independence, why judicial independence is important. Third, I will say what are the obstructions when it comes to judicial independence, and fourth is how basically it can be expanded. These are the four things, more or less the four things. After that, what also UPSC in a way expects you to know from the topic of judiciary, is judicial reforms. We'll take into consideration questions from the concepts of judicial reforms and other concepts also. Today we'll be focusing on judicial independence ना, बाकी concepts से भी we'll take up questions but in other lectures or in other discussions. ठीक है, it will be a long series, so don't worry, we will in a way have a comprehensive view on all the subjects and all the themes in the subjects. So the second concept that I will say is important from the point of view of the theme of judiciary is judicial reforms. It is basically judicial reforms. Third, I will say recent judicial trends. For example, PIL, public interest litigation, if there is something important in public interest litigation in the recent times, or I will say terms like constitutional morality, when they are in news, or I will say terms like judicial overreach when they are in news. So such types of terms, such type of trends, whenever they are in news, UPSC tends to ask you questions on those. UPSC basically will tend to ask you question on those. And last, I will say relation of judiciary with other organs of government, that is executive and legislature. To keep this five concepts in mind while reading the material on judiciary. Alright, now let us go to the present question. As I told you, the main concept in it is judicial independence. Other than that, what all the questions requires you to focus upon, na wo dekh lete. Let us see that. Okay, so concepts that are in demand in this particular question. First is judicial independence. What basically is judicial independence? Judicial independence is judiciary working without fear or favor from other organs of the government. Without fear or favor from the other organs of the government, that basically is judicial independence. Okay. Then you come to constitutional guarantee. In constitutional guarantee, what all you have to basically state? In constitutional guarantee, now, my dear friends, you have to state how Constitution itself provides for judiciary to be independent. For example, Article 124 and Article 217 related to Supreme Court and High Court. ठीक है, देखो, when a general question on judiciary is asked ना, when a general question on judiciary is asked ना, concentrate only on the two constitutional courts, that is Supreme Court and High Court. ठीक है, do not get into subordinate courts, otherwise ना, the length of your answer cannot be imagined at all. ठीक है, if specifically judicial independence in subordinate courts is asked, only then include it, otherwise do not include it. So in general, if the question is on judiciary, that means Supreme Court and High Court. ठीक है, so we have to take into consideration what are the provisions. As I told you, article, majorly you have to write Article 124 and Article 217. Other than that, the last part of the question, or I will say the main part of the question, is relation between judiciary and democracy. How basically, because there is judicial independence, what happens is democracy in India is sustained. What happens is democracy in India basically is sustained. So these are the key concepts. These basically are the key concepts of the question. Now if I go back to the question again now, if I basically go back to the question again, what does it state? Constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence is prerequisite of democracy, comment. Now the question has directive word comment. Now when I say there is a directive word comment, what does it mean? It means first and foremost you have to explain. What this statement means. Second, you have to look into, or you have to assess how and why judicial independence is crucial for democracy. And last, you have to substantiate your answer. With examples. When I say examples in polity, now more or less examples in polity means case law. Okay, so I will repeat again. First and foremost, explain the meaning and implications of the statement. What does the statement mean? Second, I will say assess how and why judicial independence basically is important for democracy. Okay? How judicial independence basically leads to democracy. And third I will say, provide your points examples, and as it is the answer of polity, examples means case law. बात खत्म होगी. ठीक है. What will be basic structure of my answer? My basic structure of my answer will be introduction. Obviously there will be an introduction, and after that introduction, now I have to showcase constitutional guarantees. That are provided for judicial independence. Okay, so I have to mention some provisions with respect to the constitution, and then what I will do is I will go ahead and explain relation between judicial independence and democracy. That's it. More or less that will be my answer, and also you are not expected to write more than 150 words. Now to confine yourself to this particular structure and this content only. Alright, what will be my introduction? More or less what will be my introduction? In the introduction, now what I will do is I will explain what judicial independence means. I have already provided you with the definition. I will repeat it, don't worry. Okay. So judicial independence means judiciary working without the fear or favor of the other two branches of the government, that is executive and legislature. It is important for the purpose of sustaining constitutional values and democracy in a particular country like India. Done? Then what you have to do is provide for a linking statement. What a linking statement will do? It will connect your introduction to the main body. ठीक है, देखो introduction. Now with respect to introduction, there is a certain myth among students, and the myth is एक ही introduction बना लो, make one introduction for any given particular chapter. So if the if the chapter is fundamental right, make a common introduction for fundamental right. If the chapter is of suppose DPSP, make a common introduction for DPSP. If the chapter is of democracy, make a common introduction for democracy. Do not do that. Every question deserves its own specific introduction. The first two lines have done. Third line basically is certain constitutional guarantees are to be provided and have been provided in the Indian Constitution. Certain guarantees have to be provided and have been provided by Indian Constitution for the purpose of maintaining independence of judiciary and therefore ensuring the sustenance of democracy. Baat khatam ho gayi. This is your introduction, not more than that. So first provide the definition of judicial independence, then directly go to some constitutional provisions or provisions are provided in the Constitution that guarantee independence of judiciary, through which what is done is democracy is sustained in India. Okay, once you are done with the introduction, then what we will do is we will go to those specific provisions. My dear friends, we will basically go to those specific provisions through which what basically happens is we can basically look into constitutional guarantees. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे please remember, writing about constitutional guarantees is not the core of the question. What is the core of the question? Relation between judicial independence. The core of the question is relation between judicial independence and democracy. ठीक है, and this answer has to be written in within 150 words. So what I will recommend is this part you can mention in the form of a chart. In a form of a chart, in a form of a diagram, that will be much better. ठीक है, but even when you are writing or providing it in a form of a chart, do also provide articles associated with it or case laws associated with it if there are any. ठीक है, सिर्फ ये लिख के छोड़ मत देना security of tenure, नहीं. Make a chart, make a diagram, mention security of tenure, then mention article 124(2), all right, 124(2), 217(1), ठीक है, 124(2) लिखो, in front of it write age of retirement 65 years in Supreme Court, security of tenure. ठीक है, when you write security of tenure in one line, what you do in chart itself define what is security of tenure. That is their tenure in the office is guaranteed. Tenure in the office tenure in office of judges of Supreme Court and High Courts is guaranteed. 124(2), 217(1). 124(2), what is the age? 65. 217(1), what is the age? It is 62. Done. Then what you have to do is the second pointer. Second pointer in your diagram will be removal of judges. Judges can be removed. Judges of Supreme Court and High Court can only be removed through a motion passed in the Parliament with special majority. Through a motion passed in Parliament with special majority. ठीक है, Article 124A. Article 124(4). After that, the third point will be with respect to salaries and allowances. What are they? They are guaranteed. With respect to Supreme Court judges, it is guaranteed by, they are guaranteed by Consolidated Fund of India. With respect to High Court judges, they are guaranteed by Consolidated Fund of States. By Consolidated Fund of States. Then we have power to punish. Okay. Power and jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Through this particular provision, what do we see with respect to judicial? What do we see with respect to judicial independence? So for the purpose of protecting judicial independence, Parliament has been provided the power by the Parliament has been provided the power by the Constitution only to increase the jurisdiction of Supreme Court, not to decrease it. ठीक है, through it what Constitution has done? It has basically guaranteed judicial independence. Then power to punish for contempt. Through it, how judicial independence will be achieved? Mischief against the authority of the court will be avoided, and therefore courts and judges can perform their duty without taking into consideration the surroundings, without taking into consideration undue influences. All right, last but not the least, separation of judiciary from executive, Article 50. Even though if it is a DPSP, even if Article 50 is a DPSP, what it does, it provides the route towards judicial independence. It showcases that founding fathers basically wanted judiciary to not be influenced by executives. Judiciary to not be influenced by executives. ठीक है. Now we go to the actual part of the answer or the main part of the answer. What is the main part of the answer? by showcasing how judicial independence is a prerequisite for democracy. Because there is judicial independence, there basically is democracy, or judicial independence sustains democracy. That we have to basically show. Now, why it is said that judicial independence is prerequisite to democracy? First and foremost, because it ensures accountability and good governance. Because it ensures accountability and good governance. Constitution constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence. What it does is, it provides judiciary confidence to promote good governance. It provides judiciary confidence to ensure that in the actions of the government, what is enshrined? Constitutional values. And which is one of the most important constitutional values? Welfare of people. Okay? Welfare of people. Alright, so unless there is welfare of people, there cannot be democracy. Unless there is welfare of people, there cannot be democracy. Alright, second interpretation of the constitution. Because judiciary is independence, what we see is Supreme Court or judiciary as a whole is able to interpret the constitution. Judiciary is able to interpret the constitution in the way in which the founding fathers intended the meaning of the provisions of the constitution to be. Alright, so through judicial independence, judiciary orients itself towards the truthful interpretation of the constitution as was wanted by the founding fathers, and not by the government of the day. Okay? So judiciary, by it, what it does is, it enshrines constitutional morality. Use such terms. Constitutional morality. Keshavanand Bharati versus State of Kerala is the prime example of it. Use this particular case law. From this case, what basically judiciary did? Judiciary drew a border. Judiciary basically drew a border on amending powers of the Supreme Court. It would not have been possible if judiciary was not independent. Alright, moving ahead. Judicial independence also, what it does is, it promotes upholding of rule of law. Upholding on rule of law. That means the actions of the government have to be within the legal bonds. Actions of the government have to be within the legal bonds. And if it is basically not the case, what can the judiciary do? It can term the action to be ultra vires and strike them down. Alright, it can turn the action to be ultra vires and strike it down. So, Nandini Sundar versus State of Chhattisgarh. In this, what the judiciary did? Judiciary insisted upon the majesty of rule of law in upholding democracy. Judiciary ne bola ki rule of law is essential for what? For the purpose of democracy. And judiciary, again, this could be done by judiciary. Why? Because judiciary is independent. Because there are constitutionally guaranteed provisions for judicial independence. Alright. Next, safeguarding individual rights and liberties. Safeguarding individual rights and liberties. Okay. Independent judiciary, what it can do is, or what it does do is, it considers or takes into consideration rights of citizens to be of paramount importance. Rights of the citizens have to be taken into consideration, and rights of the citizens have to be protected from the abuse of government if there is any. If there is basically any. Okay. So judicial orientation towards protecting individual and striking down the actions that basically go against their right, it is again possible only if the judiciary is independent. Only if the judiciary is independent. Most important judgment in it is of course the Puttaswamy case, which stated that right to privacy is part of Article 21. Right to privacy is basically out of Article 21. Then we have prevention of autocracy and authoritarianism. Prevention of autocracy and authoritarianism. Dekho, judiciary, because of its independence, now what it can do is, it can basically orient towards, judiciary can orient towards government of the day, especially the executive branch, conducting an overreach operation or going beyond constitutional limits. Best example of it is again Minerva Mills case, in which Supreme Court stated that in the name of DPSPs, what cannot be done? Fundamental rights in totality cannot be violated, fundamental rights in totality cannot be infringed upon. Okay. Last but not the least, judiciary basically ensures checks and balances. Judiciary basically ensures checks and balances so that no branch of the government oversteps its constitutional authority. And if the same is done, what the judiciary will do is, it will declare that particular step to be void ab initio. Alright, so these are the ways in which judicial independence, what does it do? It sustains democracy. Judicial independence basically sustains democracy. Alright, moving on to the next part is the questions provided by us. These are probable questions, and these questions are built around the demand of UPSC. So what you can do is, you can write answers to these questions. Okay? You can write answers to these questions, you can communicate with GS Core, and if you do send us these answers, we'll make sure that we will evaluate the same and we provide you with appropriate remarks. Alright, if you have gained any knowledge from this particular video, if this video has helped you at all, I will request you to like this video, subscribe to the channel of GS Core and share this video. Thank you so much guys. Best of luck. Bye.